We're going to be talking about paradigm shifts and the evolving mobile marketplace. So I think if we can get Walter and Sarah and Antony and Jane to join Chris on the stage, that would be fantastic.
So, we're going to talk here about the evolving mobile markets and the marketplaces. Of course, it's no secret, I know you saw my intro yesterday, the mobile games market has gone through a number of challenges in recent years, as we said. We've had the changes of data tracking and privacy from the existing kind of app stores, impacting UA advertising. We've got positive and negative impacts from governmental legislation, and obviously there's the whole inflation and general cost of living squeeze. However, good news is despite all this, the market has returned to overall growth on many metrics, and I feel particularly, and I was trying to imbue it yesterday, we're on the cusp of even bigger growth and exciting opportunities. So I'm delighted to be able to kind of chair a panel here talking to one of the gaming giants and several great sort of developers and publishers about the opportunities ahead of us, particularly in the direct-to-consumer arena with new distribution opportunities. So, first of all, for the panel, can you quickly introduce yourselves and tell us how you're feeling with as much energy as you can in the morning about mobile gaming in 2025 and why you're upbeat, or otherwise you can be downbeat if you like. Be a bit of a bad way to start, but you can go that way. So. Yeah, have we got enough mics? We might have to. You're mic'd up.
We got
okay.
lapels.
Professional.
Yep.
Okay.
Shall I go first?
You go first. You're the far end.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Jane. I'm the commercial manager at ustwo Games. ustwo Games is a small development studio based here in London. I guess best known for premium games, so the Monument Valley series. And then how am I feeling about the ecosystem currently and this year ahead? I think premium games is still a challenge, so I'm a little bit kind of hesitant to see what happens and what the future is for us, definitely as a premium game developer. But I guess optimistic for choices and options ahead of us as the ecosystem evolves.
You're not going to be revealing your free-to-play Monument Valley today, then?
We'll see.
Damn it.
Might come to me now.
Microtransactions through the roof. Sarah, how are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Thomson, and I work with Epic Games Store. I'm focused on the mobile piece, which we've been working really hard on, and I get to work with Walter on his team on that. And I'm feeling both pragmatic and optimistic. I think that games has been put through the ringer, and many of us have felt the pain of that for the past few years in general. And I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think we're still going to see some challenges this year, but I do think that there's a lot of really exciting innovation and disruption coming down the line over the next few years. And so while I am doing my best to support the industry and help us navigate this, I'm also really excited for all of the great things that are coming down the line.
So you're kind of pragmatistic, or...
Oh, I like that.
Optimatic, I don't know, whatever. That's fine. Okay.
Nice.
Go for it. Walter,
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
So I'm Walter Somol. I run the Epic Games Store account business development team, and with Sarah and we're charged with going out and talking with developers and publishers around the world and bringing games to PC and very soon to the mobile game store. I'm optimistic for 2025. I mean, I kind of feel like things can't get much worse. Hopefully I won't eat those words. It's been a really rough couple of years in the game industry in general. So hopefully it's onward and upward in 2025. We will see.
Onwards and upwards. Okay. Antony, how about yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Antony. I'm head of business development at Playdigious. We specialize in porting PC successes to mobile in a premium way. And I'm pretty optimistic for 2025. There's been some change in regulation in Europe that opens the door to a lot of things. So even if the market has been quite hard, and the premium side of it is only less than 5%, we're still very interested in seeing what's happening, and we have a lot of things coming, so I'm excited for it.
So broadly optimistic or pragmatic across the whole. So let's turn this particularly to Epic. You know, reasons you're here, and you're obviously entering this space with your own app marketplace. You'll have the PC store already. Why did you decide to get into this space? You've obviously, you know, you're doing quite a lot in this space. You're helping drive innovation. What was the lead to get into this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's no secret some of the change that we're trying to make in the industry. You know, one of the most important things to us are the creative people like, you know, the folks joined here on the panel with us and many of you in making games. And it's gotten very expensive, not only from development cost perspective, but also on the marketing side of things. And for us, it's about providing that, what we think is a fair share back to developers. So we have the 88-12 revenue split on PC and mobile. And we think that represents, you know, the respective value that people are bringing to players around the world in a much more fair way. So, you know, 30% commissions, it's just no longer justified. So that's probably the biggest reason why we're doing this. And then also to open up the app ecosystem on mobile devices as well. It's been kind of locked down by the incumbent players, and it's time for more choice for people, for consumers, and for partners to be able to have other places to bring their games.
Cool. Do you want to add to that, Sarah, or has he covered everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think he laid it out very well, and just to add a little bit to that, I think that you can see so much of what we do is driven by the man at the top, right? Tim Sweeney is extremely principally driven, and that same essence and spirit is coming into mobile. And I think mobile's been really hungry for this for a few years. And so we've been excited to talk to developers, share what our plans are, what's coming down the line. And we're ready. Everyone else, or most of mobile developers, are really ready for it too, and looking for that ability to grow their business and have choice, and gamers have choice, and give you a lot of freedom. So I think that's really what drives us.
I mean, I think that, yeah, there's definitely room for innovation. We've kind of been, the mobile is a very innovative space, and it did, you know, it's changed the way games are sold, made them accessible to everyone. The whole free-to-play and the app stores are great, but yeah, it feels like it's been kind of in stasis for a little while now, and we need to shake up the status quo. I think you're worth more than 12%, but I'm glad that you've settled for that. So, talking of which, like, one of the trends, app stores, is also these direct-to-consumer web shops is a big deal. That kind of enables the developer to have a direct relationship with a player, and also to, you know, offer, again, a bit of innovation, offer different models, offer different revenues and benefits without having to go necessarily through the app store. So maybe talking from the publisher developer side first. What's your take on these kind of D2C innovations?
Well, that's something that has been on our mind for quite some time. Having a publisher store isn't as interesting for a premium game publisher as it should be for a free-to-play publisher. But as we put our fingers more and more into the free-to-try genre, it broadens our audience, and it's something that can be interesting to make the player that are happy with the game that we do see what other games we have. Also, DLCs on mobile is not something that is working very well. We have some issues in terms of discoverability for the player, and that's a way to tackle that issue for us. So that's something we are looking into, but still nothing is done yet.
Fair enough. And from an ustwo perspective, is again, I know we'll come on to the premium stuff a little bit in a second and the opportunities there, but what about, you know, sort of that D2C kind of web shop stuff? Is that of interest for you guys? You experiment with that?
I'll be honest, we aren't experimenting with that at the moment, and yeah, definitely because of the sort of premium nature of our mobile games. But I think, you know, it's something we're really optimistic for. I think we see, you know, the huge potential for that freedom of choice for developers as these spaces are emerging. And I think the huge value that's there with being able to connect directly with your players, be able to engage with your players, speak to your players, and that ability to kind of keep retaining them, which you just don't have that option on the traditional app stores. So yeah, I think it's a really exciting thing to
There's a whole discussion about, and this is the same for all distribution, and maybe also the same for activity, of who kind of owns the relationship with the player, right? And you're making the game, but then you can't talk to them or engage. It's a kind of an odd dynamic. So,
Yeah.
From an Epic perspective, do you have an angle on the kind of web shop side of things? Is that going to be like? Is there going to be something? I don't know. I know what you're going to say. Is that going to be featured? Is there going to be something we should look out for?
Yeah, it's an awesome question. I think we have some guardrails on what we can and can't say about web shops today, at least. But there's the old saying, "Necessity is the mother of invention," and I think that's particularly relevant to the web shop space. Developers want to have a connection with their players directly. But the other piece of it too is the margin as well. I talked a little bit about that already, but I think reportedly Apple and Google retain 75 to 80% of their commission as margin. Meanwhile, developers increase costs, increase marketing costs, and stuff like that are keeping less and less and less. Web shops are a way for them to have transactions directly with customers and all that. We've essentially supported it in a not exact way on PC. If you bring a game to Epic Games Store on PC and you have IAPs and add-ons and things like that, you can run your own transaction systems in-game and keep 100% of the revenue. We have web shops available for Fortnite. I think that's no secret. And I think one of the ways to think about Epic Games Store is we're a developer too, and we want to build a store that we'd want to put our own games on. So, what we do with web shops in the future in terms of like formal announcements will be coming soon. I'm sure we'll have something to say about that.
There you go. There's a little bit of space to be creative with that.
You can infer plenty from that.
Yeah,
and I think just to add a little bit to that, you can probably be making some fun guesses around what is coming down the line once we do enter the mobile space, around all of the things that we wanted to do and tried to do, we want to facilitate on mobile. So I think that generally this feeling of choice, freedom, to have optionality around how you're running your game and various pieces of that are going to be facilitated through our store.
So just to stay on the store for a second, I mean, we talked about a few potential things. How would you, apart from the revenue share, which is obviously huge, what other ways would, is the Epic's or mobile app marketplace going to be different or differentiate itself that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, we will be the first multi-platform storefront to be out there. And I think that alone is a huge differentiator and something that is very much in alignment with a lot of developers' strategy and priorities, right? Of to be able to distribute, become more agnostic, and reach as many players as possible. And so we really want to facilitate that from the store perspective as well. And listen, agnosticism is a layer that covers across everything we're doing at Epic, right? If you look at what we're doing with Unreal, you look at what we're doing with Fortnite, and so this is something that carries through into our ethos as a store as well. And so I think there's a lot of room for creativity and experimentation as well of how are we working with developers to do cool offers, marketing, all of that great stuff with that multi-platform lens in mind.
And talking about the platform, this is a good segue into a different question. Like, obviously, at Playdigious, you guys are already, you're publishing on different platforms. It's not just mobile, you've got PC, kind of console games as well. And again, yeah, you've got a good portfolio of titles. How do you see the state of the development, I guess, right now in mobile versus PC console for you guys? Where's your kind of focus? We're here on ostensibly a mobile panel, but it's a show about everything.
Well, I have to be totally honest. We are publishing games on PC and console, but it's a very small fraction of our activity. Most of it is publishing games on mobile. I think next year we have something like 6 mobile games coming.
Yeah.
And it's going to be our busiest day in terms of PC console launch because we have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So we are just discovering the PC area with 3 games, whereas the mobile market is something that we know for 10 years, and we have tons of games coming and more coming.
I just think it's an interesting thing. I remember like when mobile, maybe the last couple of years, mobile felt a bit of the pinch and the squeeze, and some of the bigger guys thought, hey, you know, mobile's kind of slowing down. Let's go into this really easy PC marketplace, right? Steam looks easy. Let's do that. And I sense there's a bit of a recoil from that at the moment, where they've realised Steam's quite hard in its own way. So, you know, you guys, how are you finding that early on? I'm not asking you to sort of say good or bad things about other stores, but you say you're sort of tentatively sort of finding your way in that space, or you just... Yeah.
We find our way, but that's my personal opinion. I think that the space is going to be extremely crowded, both on PC and mobile next year, because that's a trend I've seen while I was looking for a PC game to publish. And also, I'm not looking for mobile game, but I'm sure things are happening in the same way.
Yeah.
With the large number of layoffs that has happened in the past couple of years, people have decided to gather and form a small studio and doing their game. And last Gamescom had 5 times more meeting requests just to show me a game. So I'm under the impression that next year and probably 2026 as well, we are going to see much more game coming out of the blue from very small studios that are doing things. So it's going to be very tricky to make yourself seen inside that large number of games.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. This isn't in my questions, but I was thinking about this today. I mean, one of the big smash hits that's come from a very small developer, a one-man band, is of course Balatro, which is it was from Steam and is now, you know, tearing up on mobile as well. It's doing very well. So you mentioned the cross-platform thing. I don't know. My head's just kind of thinking around the opportunities there, and I think cross-platform could be an interesting one to look at. Looking at us two, obviously creative pioneers. I remember early S2 days when it was Mills, who was doing free-to-play games. Was
there?
And it was I remember Success Alia. I remember what is it, the unicorn game or something? Or the whale. I can't remember.
Whale Trail.
Yeah. Early days. That was great.
That's a blast from the past.
You've done free-to-play. So,
It's true.
Yeah. When you're kind of thinking about the mobile landscape now and all these different stores and subscription models, you know, does that, obviously you're working with around Monument Valley 3 with Netflix, and there are other partners out there. You've done work with Apple Arcade. I'm sure the stores are all looking to, I'm sure there's a reason why you're sat on this stage. So, like, do you see this as a good time, a good opportunity for you to work with different partners and bring different experiences with different partners? Or how do you see the kind of store or, you know?
Yeah, I think, as you say, we've been lucky enough to be able to work with some of the big subscription partners. So we've just released Monument Valley 3 with Netflix games. We had another game on Netflix games a few years ago as well, called Destined Memories Between. We've had a number of titles on Apple Arcade. So we've definitely sort of seen the subscription space as a natural home or an evolution for where premium could thrive at a time where sort of premium is becoming less popular or less the norm. I think, you know, as with everything, the subscription stores and the content strategy for those is evolving. Certainly still premium games, but there's definitely a push for more retention, a push for more live ops, which does sort of shift that model that we're used to working in, and we're having to sort of think of ways that we adapt to that, the kind of games that we're making, and how we would satisfy those needs with those big subscription partners. And then with the sort of third-party stores, this is definitely something we've been keeping an eye on for a while, and I think the thing that really excites us about the emergence of these is that it's yeah, of course, a nice revenue share that that is optimistic for us. But I think, that aside, it's about being able to access different audiences that we wouldn't have been able to reach through sort of the traditional App Store methods. I think it's about being able to be kind of discoverability across these new stores is going to be huge for us. Accessing the audiences that will come with those stores are definitely players that we wouldn't have been able to hit on the traditional app stores. I think for a small developer like us as well, it comes with some things, some challenges, which will be upkeep. If there's different SKUs across different stores, it'll be more upkeep for us, and that's something we'll need to consider. But yeah, I think there's definitely an evolution of what premium looks like across these spaces. So yeah, we're kind of navigating that.
I'll come on to premium just a second, but I guess one question which you've sort of answered, but I'm interested in, you're probably not going to answer, but is, as I say, I talked about how ustwo initially had done different things, and do you foresee a world in which you would look at different models, look at free to play? Or is that just an anathema of where you guys are in terms of what you're trying to create?
Yeah, I think, definitely that we wouldn't say no. Like it is something that we have sort of ideated around and try and fit, like what does an ustwo games version of free to play look like? Yeah. We haven't found an answer to that yet, but it's not to say that we aren't thinking about ways that we can adapt our current games, our current offering. For example, Monument Valley 3, we are looking into, or we will be doing some sort of seasonal live ops content. And it's, I guess, not a very traditional live ops, sort of offering, but it's
sort of DLC type.
Yeah, I think, in a very ustwo games way, kind of thinking about kind of these premium style play experiences. That's kind of how we're approaching that, and that's totally new for us. So yeah, I think.
So effectively, what you're saying is Monument Valley free to play. That's what I'm saying. You heard it here first, almost, not quite.
I don't think I said that.
No, you didn't say that. I did. So there you go. No, it's fascinating. But I guess again for both of you and. In terms of the premium space, because that's say where you are, obviously, we've been around mobile a long time. We've seen the changes. The subscription businesses, kind of look to be the kind of saviour for premium. Maybe there's challenges there as well. Do you see that premium will retain a segment or will grow further within that mobile space? Because free to play has become so it's so dominant, right? I remember we used to do these panels called like freemium versus premium, and this is. I'm old, so it's probably now about 10 years ago, but it was a real battle, and that's not a battle that people talk about anymore, right? So,
well, you have to think about premium and free to play are completely two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
What we are putting our fingers into is free to try, so you can try the game just like as a demo, and then download the rest of the content for.
Within the game.
Payment.
Yeah.
And we cannot do the full change towards a free-to-play because it involves completely different skills.
Yeah.
And you're not putting your money in the same place because you need to, in order for free-to-play to be successful, you need to invest largely in user acquisition.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
No, it's a different model. I guess I'm saying from the flip side though, you're obviously in the premium space. Are you guys both quite bullish that premium's going to retain a segment of the market or can grow? I mean, it's not a lot of money to spend on games often. It's like £5 or £6 premium games. So, you still feel confident that space is going to exist one way or another?
Yes, definitely. I think players want that kind of experience that have a start, have an ending, and doesn't request you to put more money in it just to be in some kind of a top competitors of the game. I definitely think that the experience that players that have on PC with premium games, that's something that can translate into the mobile market. And more PC developers were thinking that mobile gaming wasn't gaming.
Yeah.
And that's shifting. There are more and more understanding that No, that's just a different audience of real gamers, and they want real games. They want good games that you can play, well, like an actual PC or console.
Okay, fair enough. So you're still bullish on that. I've got 2 more questions. I ask Epic, and I'm going to give people a chance to ask a question before the final one. So, obviously, we're here on a panel and talking about we've got developers here. At the moment, the store's just kind of launching. You know, at some point, the mobile store is going to be open for more developers. When's that going to be, roughly?
Yes, that's a great question. So yes, third-party games are coming to the store, the mobile store, very soon. And we are actively working on, we have a suite of release management tools we call self-publishing tools that are, fully featured on PC, and we're, furiously working on getting those fully featured on mobile, which will allow us to really bring on the masses and come one, come all. So that's soon, not as soon as third-party games are coming to the store. But, I think one of the things that we're striving to do is make it an easy place to bring games. So if you've worked with EGS on PC, it's the same tool set to use on mobile. And we really embrace the one store, multi-platforms. Sarah was talking about that before, to make it easier for partners.
And is it likely to be easier for any developer to bring their game? Will there be a selection process? Or I don't know how much you can say. I'm going to keep asking questions.
The plan is to have it open to all like we do on PC.
Yeah.
And it's just we have to get our work done.
Okay, we're getting there.
Yep.
So I've got one more question I'm going to ask the club. Before to close, does anybody would like to ask a question to kind of Epic or ustwo or Playdigious, very prominent companies? He's scratching his head. That's not a question. There's a question over here.
Hi. So this sounds fab, and opening this up as a mobile store. You mentioned there that people hadn't seen mobile gaming as real gaming in a mindset, but actually globally, places like India, Southern Hemisphere, Africa, that's all they do. And so I imagine that opening up this store is going to make that market, that Southern Hemisphere market, massive for you. What plans do you have to assist in the development cycles coming out of those places and diversify your creator pool from places like LATAM, Southern Asia, Africa, etc.?
Good question.
Was that for us?
I'll take a first stab. Yeah. So totally agree with what you're saying, and I think for us that's all new territory. Mobile in general is new territory for us, and we're really excited about those regions as well. So that's definitely something we're going to be spending a lot of time on, in really educating ourselves on it and looking at what is the best way to be supporting those other regions. And that I agree, I think it's a huge opportunity.
Okay. Cool. We got any other question before I get into there's another there are questions now. All right, go for it.
So thank you for the insightful chat. As you mentioned, the mobile store is going to be open for third-party developers soon. And are there any technical limitations in terms of what kind of engines we could use to get access to the store and get published there?
Yeah, so myself, Sarah, Sean McGinnis here in the front are all here from the store team. We're here to talk to people like you, to tell you more about what's coming with the store. So that would be the first thing to do. We're here. We're going to be at shows all year to help people get on the store. You say technical limitations. We have an SDK for Epic Online Services, pretty straightforward. We're reducing the requirements on mobile, no crossplay required, no achievements. So you're really just integrating with our e-commerce backend for your IAPs, should you choose to do that, and then authenticating through an Epic ID. And it's a fairly light integration. Our partners could probably speak to that experience more specifically, but we haven't seen a ton of hiccups with that yet.
And there's no limitations in terms of your tech and what you're using. So there maybe is an assumption that you have to be using Unreal. Not at all. You can be using Unity, you can be using proprietary tech, just like you do on EGS PC. We have lots of Unity-driven games over there. We have a great relationship with Unity, so we're very supportive of whatever tech you're using can work with what our SDK is.
And I just want to add to that my experience with, the support I got from Walter and his team with the PC stuff was amazing and better than any other store that I've worked with. So I just wanted you.
Are there any of the stores in the?
And I'm happy to challenge anyone on that.
Do we have time for that final question?
Let's go for that one last question.
Was it the front here? No, where? Oh, yeah. You're nearest. Be a short one, because.
Sure, I'll keep it quick. It's just for Epic Games, so I was just curious if you guys had a take on how you're gonna break the network effect advantage of the incumbents. Obviously everyone agrees the 88-12 split is amazing. It's really good that you guys are doing that, but Steam continues to grow, makes new records, and people are gonna go where the users are, and that's the problem with Apple and Google. I was wondering if you guys had a take on that.
Tough question, good question.
It's actually, catch me off mic, and I probably have a lot more to say about it. Obviously scale is critical, and I think it's no secret there's artificial limitations to how much alternative stores can scale right now due to install processes that have been enforced by the platform holders and stuff like that. So we're going to need some help from regulators around the world to sort of streamline that stuff. But we do know that people are looking for choice. We obviously are bringing our own games to Epic Games Store. They're there already on mobile. But we don't win without partners either. And it's been the same thing on PC. So third-party partners along with Epic, we can try and make that change. But we're going to have to build the scale. And that's something we're excited about for the next few years to see that grow.
Cool.
And we've done a lot on PC already for the last 6 years. So you referenced Steam, and while our numbers pale in comparison to Steam, we are a very healthy ecosystem that's become an important part of a lot of developers' distribution path and growth path, frankly. So I think the beauty with mobile is that it's such an enormous scale that even if you are, fragmenting the market, you can still build a really robust ecosystem of gamers that will be meaningful.
I suspect that it'll be the point where we get to that agnostic platform. That's when that network effect can change completely. But on that note, Chris, you wanted to sum up?
I was just going to say, can we have a big round of applause, please, for my incredible panel?
Thank you very